So for today's video, we have something that I have not done in almost a year, which is a book review. So as the new year started, for those who don't know, now you know, I've literally have had somewhat more free time, being that I did graduate in December and I don't go back to school till August. So I have a lot of free time outside of work. And even though I work like 40 hours, I still like have nothing to do really. So I'm like, I've been finding like little hobbies to do. I've always been painting, but like I've been doing that, watching movies, like just like going to the beach and stuff. And I've also been reading. So these are all the books I've read so far. We're in March and I've already read 3 books. As of right now, I'm on a 4th book right now that I got from the library yesterday. I got 2 books from the library. Let me go get them real quick. This is one of them that I'm on right now. I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings by Maya Angelou. This is my 4th book right now, and so far I'm liking it. Like, it's an autobiography about Maya Angelou's life, and I think it's pretty good. But we're gonna be talking about these 3 books that I've read so far. This book I got, a friend had gotten it for me. I had put it on my wish list for my birthday. It's called The Awe of God by John Bevere, and it's so good. Like, literally, you guys, if you literally look inside the book, highlights, notes. Like, I was not playing when I read this book. Like, I was getting my life. Another book that I read, I got this book myself off of Amazon. It's called All About Love by Bell Hooks. And again, highlights. Another book, belongs to my friend. I did not highlight in this because it's not mine, but it's Sula by Toni Morrison. And we're going to get into these books and we're going to hear my thoughts. And I want you guys to write your thoughts if you read these books before. And if you haven't, you can still comment. I just want to make a comment that only 2 of these books are, I wouldn't say they're self-help, but 2 of them are self-help and the other one is fiction. Disclaimer, I'm not gonna lie, like, I love self-help books just as much as the next person, but I feel like with today's like push of, like, you know, being a better person, like knowing to be a better person, I feel like I wish there was more effort being put into actually taking the steps to be a better person. And I feel like the more, like, having like 10 self-help books is really not gonna make you a better person or a better human being. Even like reading the Bible, like, you can read all the pages in the Bible yet still not work out your salvations. You know what I mean? Like, walk in God's words. So I also, Sula is, I forgot to mention that it's fiction. So with fiction books, you can also learn from it just as much as you can learn from a self-help book. But I just wanted to make that disclaimer. The Awe of God. So when I was reading this book back in January, I would be reading it at work. That's really why I got books, because like I did not want to be on my phone so much. Like right now, I literally don't have no types of social media on my phone. Like I don't have Instagram, and I deleted TikTok like 2 weeks ago. Like I only have YouTube, Tubi, Peacock, and like Apple Music as a form of entertainment on my phone. But when I got this book at work, when I'd be reading it, I'd have like people ask me like what I'm reading. And I had this this customer at my job asked me what the book is about. And I'm like, I basically summed it up from what I known at the time, because I was only in the middle of the book. And I was like, basically fearing God. And he's like, why would you fear God? And to sum up the book, it's really all about fearing God and being obedient to God. And a lot of people don't understand. And it made me realize how like a lot of people really don't understand the concept of fearing God. And I had to explain to him, like, it's not even about like the world's definition of fear, because the world's definition of fear is like, oh my gosh, I fear snakes, so I'm like never gonna be around snakes, I'm never gonna touch a snake whatsoever, which is understandable. But like the biblical meaning of fear is just having like adoration and reverence for God. Like you fear him, you love him so much, you respect him so much that you fear him. Like you would never want to like cross God. Like you would never serve any other idols before God. You would never go rob a bank, because you love and respect God so much. You know that if you were to do such thing, you'd not only be hurting people, but you'd also be hurting God. And you fear God that much that you wouldn't even do that. Not gonna lie, if you're the type of person that don't like spoilers, I suggest you get off this video, because I'm about to be reading some pages and spoil it. So if you don't like spoilers, go away. because I highlighted a whole bunch and I'm going to spoil. But one thing that stuck out to me, or one of the things that stuck out to me a lot, was like the amount of times he kept like bringing up wisdom and like knowledge. Because in order to fear God, like, you have to have that knowledge and understanding to really, you know, fear him. He brings up the word obedience a lot as well. And we hear growing up like, oh, you have to like obey your parents, but like you don't really hear about obeying God. Like, the way I was taught understanding God was very surface level, for real, like almost genie like, but like, just know if you do something bad, he's gonna punish you, and that's it. Like, but why is he gonna punish me? Oh, he's gonna punish me because I didn't obey him. But is it really punishment, or is it me facing like the consequences of my disobedience? And a lot of times, like, we believe in God and we believe in like his miracles, but we just do not want to like follow his commandments. And you know, the path to that gate is very narrow, and like it says in the Bible, not many will find it. So I just want to be the person that finds it. And in order to find it, you have to understand God and find God for real, not for people, not for church, but for yourself. And it really starts off with just fearing God. Overall, this book is a 10 out of 10. When I created my wish list, I literally just seen it on Amazon. I was like, ooh, and I just put it on there. I didn't think anybody was going to get it for me, but she did. Shout outs to her. I even had like, these are like words that I never heard of that he was saying in the book, and I forgot that I wrote down the words and I made my own kind of definition of it. So like when he was saying the words, I was getting an understanding of what he said, and I also was learning new words. So yeah, that was the All of God. 10 out of 10. I recommend. Now, this next book that I had gotten myself off of Amazon, I was very intrigued by the title. Like, by the title, when I was reading this at work, again, I'm always bringing a book to work because I just be bored. Once I do my duties, like, there ain't nothing else for me to do, and I don't want to scroll on my phone. And now I really can't scroll on my phone because there's nothing to scroll on. But All About Love by Bell Hooks. She's a really great author, like a really great author. She actually died like a couple years ago, so rest in peace her soul, at Black Queen. But this book, like by the title and the cover, like in your mind, you probably think this is a book about like romance and stuff. But she really dives deep in love, like in a way that like society doesn't really talk about. Like, it's not really based off of like our understanding of what love is, if that makes sense. But yeah, back to All About Love. So from the notes I wrote on my handy dandy iPad, one thing that Bell Hooks mentioned in her book that really like made me go ooh. In like the first few pages, she was like, to open our hearts more fully to love, power, and grace, we must dare to acknowledge how little we know of love in both theory and practice. And I was like, facts. Because just based off of the book itself, like, you probably thinking, oh, we talking about marriage, boyfriend and girlfriend. Talks about love in fellowship, obviously love in friendship, love in family, love in romance, love in children, just love in community, all around, love spirituality, love in spirit. Like, even like she even talks about death in the last chapter, and like how we fear death, but if we rip off the band-aid of fear, we learn to live life as if, like, you know, even if we die tomorrow, like, we have no fear of that. And I had seen like this book on like Pinterest and stuff, and people talked about it on TikTok, and it gave me a lot of new perspectives of things. A lot of people didn't like it based off of like the TikTok reviews I seen, but like they're like, oh, she goes in too much depth, like religiously and all that stuff. And I'm like, dang, like all she did was mention a Bible verse. Like, and I looked it up. She's not even like a Christian for real. She's like a Buddhist Christian, like a new age spiritualist Christian. And I'm not gonna lie, like I was I took caution when reading this. Like, I took off like my, you know, regular lenses, and I put on my like spiritual lenses to really understand what she's saying and try to connect that with like what God says. Because sometimes because someone's not a Christian, that doesn't mean what they're saying that we shouldn't listen to it. Like, what they're saying still holds weight. And basically, to sum up of a lot of what she was saying, is basically like love is action. Just like we already, well, I already knew that, but it's really an action and not a feeling. And like, I hate to bring up the Bible again, but biblically this can be backed up with, like, I think it's like John 4 verse 18, like 1 John 4 verse 18. It was like, love in action and not in words or speech. Don't quote me, something like that. I don't know, I'm freestyling, y'all. But yeah, I wrote a lot of notes for this, and one thing I said in my notes on my handy dandy iPad is, I said, to me, love is action. To me, love is almost nonverbal. Saying the words I love you are really like the sprinkles to a cake, basically the finishing touches. And that's facts. Your mom could say she loves you, and through her actions, she does not. Your dad can say he loves you, but through his actions, he does not. Your friend can say they love you, but through their actions, they do not. Your partner can say they love you, but through their actions, they do not. And to piggyback of what she said about, like, we have to acknowledge how little we know about it, it's like facts, and that's okay. Like, we don't have to know about this this verb called love. Like, we really don't. Like, we know love through, like, how me, for example, I know I'm loved based off of like what someone, like how someone displays that for me, in a sense, like how they show up for me, like when I'm like happy or sad. And I'm not saying by like gifts or something. Like, if I go through something vulnerable in my life, I know someone loves me by them just being a shoulder to cry on, just being there, and I reciprocate that. That's how I show my love, through care and through communication and just being there for people. Y'all, I just found the Bible verse. It's actually 1 John 3 verse 18. Dear children, let us not love with words or speech, but with action and in truth. Sorry, like I just got home from church, and like I'm somewhat kind of hungry, I'm not gonna lie, so my mind is, but yeah, like love and action and truth, period. In all her chapters, the first chapter talks about grace. The introduction talks about grace. The first chapter talks about clarity. The second chapter talks about justice, childhood love lessons. And the justice chapter is where she mentions about children, about how like growing up as children, a lot of us did not have like rights, in a sense. Like, you know, your mom told you to do something, and it's always, oh, because I said so. Like, because they're the adult, they have the right to do as what they please with you, because you're the child and you have no right, and you have to do what the adult says. And growing up, doing that to a child really just opens the door for them to just accept authority from people who are not the authority, if that makes sense. Like, they don't learn to speak up for themselves and question certain things and just have like an inquiring mind, because growing up, it was not okay to question authority. Chapter 3, she talks about like honesty. You know what I mean? Oh my gosh, I cannot stress this enough. I think that is truly where there is one of the things that lacks in all sorts of relationships. Could be even with your coworker, your friend at church, your partner, all that. Like, honesty, like people just do not know how to open their mouths. Like, they'd rather sit with the lie than like open their mouth with the truth. Like, I feel like when we're dishonest in relationships that we say that we care about, like we're doing, like, you really don't care about it. Like, you're doing actually more damage to it than you think, by thinking you're protecting the person by holding in the truth. If anything, you're protecting yourself. Really, you're not protecting the other person. However way they react is just how they react, honestly. But at least you can say that you cleared I don't want to say cleared your conscience, but you just took the truth out and you didn't hold it in. And she says, the heart of justice is truth telling and seeing ourselves and the world the way it is rather than the way we want it to be. You know, she mentions how lots of people learn how to lie in childhood because you've seen how far you got away with the lie. It pushes you to just keep lying and keep lying. I noticed that a lot. No shade. I hate to bring up gender in this, but I noticed that a lot with guys. Like, even my little brother, like, sorry, y'all, my alarm just went off. Sometimes I be wanting to take like why are you lying? Like smack, like why are you lying about the littlest things? Like why? Like just be honest. People who lie about the dumbest things be funny low-key, because they're like, why are you lying about that? Out of all things you could lie about, you're lying about that. Like it's one thing if it's a lie about like, oh, you throwing a surprise party or surprise something for someone and they're asking you where you're taking them and you're like, oh, we're going to McDonald's. Whole time you're taking them to their surprise. Like stuff like that is innocent. But like harming things that could harm the other person low-key, and you're just like doing more damage by lying, it's just bad. Ugh, like liars, oh my gosh, liars, bro. But no shade, like as human beings, we low-key are really built to lie, because someone can ask a basic question like, how are you doing today? And you'll be like, oh, I'm doing fine. Whole time you're not doing fine. I'm not gonna lie, I hate to be a hypocrite, but I'm gonna call myself out on that, because I be doing that. Because it's like, when you think about it, like who wants to go into like detail for real and be like, I'm having a horrible day, like I got my period, like, you know what I mean? And just like stagger on, just basically trauma up. Like nobody want to really do that with a stranger. But sometimes people just need to talk. And working customer service, like my job really is to greet people and do extra stuff. And sometimes I'll just greet someone and I'll ask, how are you doing? And they'll really just spill. And to some, it's like, oh, they're doing too much. Like, why is this person telling me their business? But sometimes people just be wanting to talk. Like a lot of people really don't have a shoulder to lean on when in crisis. So if they got a trauma dump to an old girl at the front desk, then shoot, by all means, they're gonna do it. And I think that's another way we can show love without even having to say I love you, is just being a good ear. Like sometimes we don't even need to speak, just listen. And the other chapters I forgot to mention, chapter 4 being about commitment, chapter 5 being about spirituality, 6 values, 7 greed, 8 community, 9 mutuality, 10 romance, 11 loss, loving into life and death, 12 healing, redemptive love, and 13 destiny. And overall, I think the book is amazing, honestly. I definitely would give it an 8 out of 10. It's a good read, especially if you're the kind like me who wants more like of a broader like understanding of something as simple as the word love. You know, it's such a complex word. Like everyone has their own meaning of what love is. She talks about abuse. Sorry, I'm reading off my iPad. Love and abuse cannot coexist. You know, affection is only one ingredient of love. To truly love, we must learn to mix various ingredients like care, affection, recognition, respect, commitment, trust, as well as honest and open communication. A lot of people just turned off this YouTube video because they just rather not. They'd rather not. Don't just seek out love in others. Become loving yourself. It starts with you. Be that front desk worker has a listening ear. You know what I mean? Like that person asking you for a ride, it's not ruining your day. Give that person a ride. Help them. Like in today's day and age, I noticed that like a lot of people are so big on like self-isolating themselves and just pushing the world out, pushing the world away. Like, don't get me wrong, like we need times to be alone a lot of time. Like sometimes we need just to refresh and come back to ourselves and just let it be us and God. But like we also need community. Like how can we grow without community? Like, well, how can we grow without not having a person to lean on or people? You know, she mentions in the book that where there's a lack of love, like there's no community. Like there's no better place to learn the art of loving than in communities. To love well is the task in all meaningful relationships, not just romantic ones. So like I said, I just yapped a whole bunch, but the book was a lot. Like 8 out of 10 I recommend. This next book that I read was Sula by Toni Morrison. And if you guys are not familiar with Toni Morrison, you guys need, if you're a reader, you need to get familiar, because she's actually the first Black woman to win a Nobel Peace Prize is the word, for her writing. And she's been writing since like the early 60s. She's very talented. She passed away as well, so rest in peace her soul. And this book, Sula, I think this was like created, this is based off of the Harlem, no, I'm not gonna say the Harlem Renaissance, but it's based off the 1920s. It dates back to the late 1910s, the 20s, the 40s, the 50s, basically before I was born. So basically the book is about two girls who grew up to become women, two friends who become something worse than enemies. In this novel, Sula, whose name is on the title, her and this girl named Nell meet as children in a small town, and they become like the best of friends. And I'm not gonna lie, their relationship in real life, like, I could never be friends with Sula. I don't think anybody would want to be friends with Sula. Like, before I read this book, I saw my friend have it, and I just saw the name, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's such a pretty name. Like, when I have my daughter, I'm gonna name her that because that name is so cute. But once I got to know her character, I was like, no, like, if your name is Sula spelled like that, I'm gonna think, what was your parents thinking? Like, Sula was evil. Sula is everything this generation fears. Like, that's why they be saying they hate out, like, they don't want no friends, because people like her was just backstabbing. Like, but I felt bad for her in the sense that she was really a product of her own environment, like with her mom dying and just growing up in like a segregated times. You just feel bad for her. But it's like Nell grew up in those times as well, and she wasn't doing none of that. Like, the whole town feared Sula. And when I was reading this book, I'm not gonna lie, like, some of the words Toni Morrison was using, I had to like pause my reading and like look up what this meant, because I couldn't even sound it out in my head. But it's a very short book. It's only 173 pages. Like, it only took me like 2-ish weeks to read it because I had other things to do, and every time I was at work, someone just needed me to do something for them, so I couldn't really sit and read it. But you know, from Sula's grandmother to Sula's mother, like, she was just like, there was really no hope for her, no shade. Like, the book was really a classic case of just being a product of your own environment. And like, what she did to Nell, like, she slept with her husband, and then she was just like, girl, like, what? Like, she was just like, whatever about it. I'm like, girl, like, her accidentally killing like the little boy and that drowning, like, the whole town was just through with her. And I don't know, like, she is a villain, but she's also a victim. Like, she's a villain and she's a victim, because she ends up dying like towards like the end of the book, and everybody was happy. There was like, it's almost like a weight lifted off their shoulders, and I'm just like, wow. And then Nell gets to live, and the book ends in like the 1960s, and at this time it's like civil rights kind of era, so they're sort of kind of past, like, it's still segregated, but it's not as segregated as it was in like the 1920s and the way they were growing up. Overall, it was a good read. Would I read it again? Not really, but I think it was a good book, and I like books based off of like not modern times, if that makes sense, because it gives you a different perspective of how people used to live and their way of thinking. And yeah, I had someone tell me that they read this book in middle school, like at their middle school they made them read it. I was like, girl, what? Like, there's all sorts of F words and N words, and not the F you think, like the F or like they. I was like, what? And the part in the book where like the baby was crying because he was constipated, and the mom, like, I'm not gonna lie, that disturbed me, because as I was reading it, I was picturing it. I was like, wait, what? Like, those who know what I'm talking about know what I'm talking about. The part where she sticks her finger in her to make him to stop crying from being constipated. I was just like, oof, that is weird. But overall, I give it like a 7 out of 10. I recommend if you like those kind of books. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and me yapping. Last time, like I mentioned, last time I did a book review was like back in 2024, and they were like all self-help books. So I wanted to mix it up a bit. Oh, I forgot to bring up the other book that I got called Their Eyes Were Watching God. It's by Zora Neale Hurston. And once I'm done with this, I'm gonna read that. And if you guys have any book recommendations for me, please leave it at the bottom. Like, leave it in the comment sections and let me know your thoughts on some of the books that I read. If you've read them, what are your, you know what I mean, like, what's your review on it? If you've never read them, I'd recommend reading them if you're interested. And I hope you guys enjoy this video. Like, comment, and share, and have a good day.